The following is me, Sarah Neela Elkins, reading chapters 3 and 4 of Book of CoL, the Ember Child, live on March 29th, 2024. Anyway, today I will be reading Book of CoL, the Ember Child, chapters 3 and 4. And there is some strong language in chapter 4. So I labeled it mature. Ad is gone. Okay, cool. All right. And I do have a headache right now. So I apologize. Why is this? It needs to be darkness. 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 I need the darkness. Okay. Or do you need... Oh, I can make it full screen. I can embiggen it. Okay. One reason I'm reading it directly off of Tapas is so y'all can see the art as I had it embedded in the chapters themselves. So you're getting, hopefully, a better experience. I don't know. And, yeah, I'm going to try not to pay too much attention to the chat, but y'all can feel free to use the chat. And also, if my phone rings, I'm going to ignore it. Ready? Oh, I hope y'all are ready. Oh, can y'all hear me okay? I hope you can hear me. Yes? Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm loud enough. Alright. You're ready, Captain. Okay. The Ember Child, Chapter 3, Part 1. Every person who participated in the initial study of CoL powers, as well as subsequent studies that have occurred since the first edition of this book was published, has been allowed to pick their own pseudonym for use in the research papers and any other publications that should arise from the work we do here. There has only been one CoL, as of yet, who had difficulty choosing a name. With their permission, I chose to refer to them as Book. They are remarkable in their abilities as a CoL, as well as their general adaptability. Yet, somehow they are simultaneously the most indecisive yet impulsive person I have ever met in my life. They assure me they were this way before they gained powers, and have made jokes that they're gender fluid because of their indecisiveness. I can tell they have improved in both their indecisiveness and impulsiveness, but have to admit, there have been times when I have been frustrated working with Book. Excerpt from the Book of CoL 2nd edition, Chapter 1. Names and Identity. Little Asgard Heights is a huge complex. A big rectangular structure with a nice green central courtyard, with a pre-CoL style pool on one end. I walk around to take in the place as the evening goes on. The entire bottom floor is filled with businesses, just like it said online, a few of which are still open at this hour. I make a note to hit up the grocery store after my walk. The coffee shop smells great, so I head in and get a drink and a donut before continuing my walk. The building is 5 stories tall, with 108 living units. Each apartment is 2 stories, with the sleeping quarters above a living area and kitchen. A few have 2 bedrooms, but mine, like most, has only 1. The bathroom is on the same floor as the bedroom, and from the floor plan, looks like it shares the water lines from the kitchen below it. The bedroom and living areas both have balconies. Mine faces inside towards the large courtyard and pool area. People have clothing strung up on lines on several, or in some cases, a small barbecue pit here and there. A few balconies have umbrellas with little tables. The other apartment complex I looked at had rooms that were staggered with one another, causing some bedrooms to share walls with their neighbors' sitting rooms. But this way each bedroom shares a wall instead. Maybe it won't be a problem. I hope I have quiet neighbors. I finish my donut and coffee, toss the wrapper and cup in one of the reasonably well-maintained trash cans, and then head up to my apartment, number 221. When I arrive, there's a person waiting in the hallway for me. I pause a few feet away and try not to stare at the 6.5-foot tall person with a stylish, form-fitting, dark-colored short skirt and top, tall boots, deep red skin, horns, a forked tail, thick body, sizable chest, and a plate of chocolate chip cookies I could smell when I got off the elevator. Their eyes brighten up when they see me, and they grin with extra sharp teeth. Neighbor! Hello there? I say. Happy housewarming from your friendly fiendling neighbor, Eterna, they say with a bow before keeping the plate of cookies before them. She and her, please. Thank you, I reply while accepting the cookies. They're on an inexpensive plastic plate that I will still try to return. Before I can properly introduce myself, Eterna squints at me and barks, "Oh my gods, you look so basic." Thanks? Oh, no, wait. Gods, I fucked up. She waves her hands in the air and backs up a bit. Shit, sorry. If you like to look basic, that's none of my business. It's no problem. I gesture towards my door with one hand, the cookies in the other. I do need to get into my place and all. Right, shit, sorry. She shuffles out of the way. The hallway is just barely high enough for her to not hit her head. The ceilings in the rooms are pretty tall for an apartment, but still, many CoLs could easily find themselves cramped here if they went overboard. I use my card to unlock the door. The digital lock isn't great. I haven't done lock sport in some time, but remember reading this model has at least one known exploit. I'll get a second analog lock installed when I can. Wait, Eterna calls from the hallway. She purses her lips together and looks down while fiddling with her fingers. Has anyone shown you around your place, Mr. Simmons? Page Simmons, I say. Not really. Not sure what there's to see other than the usual. Eterna rolls her eyes. The secret party room? I stare at her from the doorway. No one told you about the secret party room? The realtor didn't mention it at all? I didn't really talk to one. I called and booked the place online, I explained. Picked up my card from the building manager. There wasn't anything online about a secret party room. Of course not. That's why it's secret, she replies with her hands on her hips. It's not like she could do much to me if she tried. So I let out a sigh before saying, "Okay, you can come in and show me this secret party room." Sweet. I stop her before she ducks in the doorway. Please don't gouge my ceiling with your horns. I just moved in today and I don't want to be at my deposit already. She nods quickly before shrinking down to a more reasonable height of maybe 5'10", yet still with the horns, fangs, tail, and whatnot. Her clothing shifts with her to accommodate the change without a problem. I wonder what brand it is. It would be weird if I asked her for feedback on it, especially if it's not the brand I beta test. This way, Eterna says while walking past me. I shut the door behind her and then follow her to the stairs. She walks up almost to the top before kneeling down and pointing to the wall. It's the space between the bedroom floor and the living room ceiling. The perfect place for a hiding spot. I'll be damned, I say. She looks at me. Did you just x-ray it? No, why would I do that? That's just a great spot to hide something, I say. Eterna looks at me funny, her brows furrowed before turning her attention back to the wall. She presses it firmly, and the square goes in slightly before popping out on a hinge. You open it by touching this spot like this. It's always on the second to last stair too. Every unit has one. I go up the stairs to join her and peer into the tiny space. It's lit with LEDs built into the walls and looks very similar to my living room, save for the television being a small cell phone-sized screen built into one wall, where the window would be. There are also several tiny recliners and a couch inside with a little table. There's no switch to turn the lights off, and I wonder how the little screen is operated. At least it has a button on one side. Maybe it's touch sensitive? It would be annoying to have to slam my whole hand against it to change the channel. Plus, there's no apparent ventilation. I bet it would get muggy as hell in there. Wow, I say. I don't really see myself using the tiny room when I have a perfectly good living room area already. Maybe I can store my keys in it or something. What class are you? Eterna asks. I mean, C and D's can't get small enough to even fit, but if you're a B or higher, it shouldn't be a problem. We could have a welcome party. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't think I'll be using that room, I say instead. Oh, that sucks. Sorry, Eterna replies with her hands over her mouth as if she's praying. I am so sorry. I shouldn't have even shown you this. Shit. No, it's okay, I say. I reach over and shut the little door. I appreciate the info and the cookies. I go back down the stairs and set the plate on my kitchen counter. A moment later, Eterna follows. When I turn around, she's even shorter than before and looks a bit embarrassed. Thankfully, her clothing has kept up with the shapeshifts. I'm so sorry I made assumptions, Eterna says. Oh, don't be, I reply. It's not that I can't use that room, I just don't want to. She wears a look of shock on her face. What? Why not? You ever been in one of those? I ask. Does it get intolerably hot and humid if there's other people? Yeah, but what party doesn't? Good point, but still. I don't like the lack of airflow. I might use it for storage or something. Oh my gods, you can't use the party room for storage, she says. Well, nothing vital anyway, I admit. Everybody knows about the secret party room, right? It'd be the first place someone would look if they were searching for something hidden. Why would you need to hide something? I don't know. Why hide a party room? I reply with a laugh. It doesn't matter. Thank you again for the cookies and the greeting and everything. You're welcome? I turn around and look in my new empty fridge. I need to run to the store. You want to come? Sure, I can show you all the best shit. Let's get some beer. Chapter 3, Part 2. I do not want beer. I've never much cared for beer. It tastes like moldy bread and fizzy mouthwash to me. Still, I have a 6-pack of it in my little basket as we browse the grocery store downstairs. It's not as big as the one I've worked in the last 8 years, but it's still got a good variety of products. The shelves are taller than at my old store. The prices are a bit higher than back home, but aren't too bad. I pause where I stand, a 4-pack of toilet paper in my hand. This is home now, I remind myself. And here's Eterna showing Page toilet paper. You okay, Page? Eterna asks from behind me. She's returned to her 6.5-foot tall form since the store has more headspace. I've already asked her to get things from the higher shelves twice. I'll probably give her the beer if she's of drinking age. If she's a young Ember, I'll shove it in the back of my fridge. Maybe give it to Detective Windgate as a gift. I'm fine, I say. Just, the move is a big thing. I've been on the fence about it a long time and sort of finally pulled the trigger on a whim, you know? She crosses her arms and leans against the shelving next to her. I really hope she doesn't knock them down. I know all about whims and shit like that. I'm a CoL, you know. I am aware, I say before putting the toilet paper in my basket. Eterna follows me around as I do my shopping. It's like having a giant shadow who occasionally points out that meat gets put on sale on Fridays, which I missed, or that the staff hides the best things behind other products. That last part doesn't surprise me, of course. We did that at my store, too. When we're ready to check out, we stand behind the Minotaur I saw earlier in the day. Ivar Misthelm, they say to me before shaking my hand. He and him. I'm a lawyer, he adds. If you ever have any trouble, let me know, all right? Will do, I say. It's nice to meet you. Page Simmons. Any pronouns. I'm pretty flexible, to be honest. Ivar raises an eyebrow at that and lets out a snort. He finishes purchasing his groceries, which include a few cuts of steak. The beef surprises me more than the Minotaur being a lawyer, to be honest. He walks around with himself half bovine and eats steak. Does he change back to basic before he has dinner, or what? Doesn't it bother him that he's eating cow? I show the cashier my driver's license to buy the beer, and then pay for everything. Eterna offers to carry things for me. I give her half the bags, minus the one with the beer. I'm still not sure how old she is. We're halfway through the courtyard when she gets closer to me and bends down. I am so sorry I forgot to ask your pronouns and stuff. I mean, I told you mine, and I even called you Mixter, and I guess I was just too excited and all. It's okay, I say. There are only a couple CoLs in my old town, and we didn't really talk much. I'm used to people not keeping neutral until they ask pronouns and all. Oh my God! Eterna practically dances around to get in front of me, where she starts walking backwards, her tail wagging back and forth, checking for obstacles. You're from a basic town? I wouldn't call it that. I'm from a smaller town, yeah, I say. But you're not the first CoL I've met, if that's what you're thinking. Of course, you said there was another one in your town, she nods vehemently. Not what I meant, I sigh. Eterna's tail moves to one side and just misses hitting a trash can that's directly behind her. Before I have a chance to say anything, she's already taken a long step back and is tripping over backwards. Shit. Only one of the grocery bags breaks. Thankfully, I have the eggs and other fragile items. Eterna transforms quickly back to her basic form before rolling over onto the gravel walkway, cursing. She's frantically trying to pick up my oranges and toilet paper. I switch my grocery bags to my left hand and kneel down to extend a hand to her. I got it, I say. Let's get you up. Her face is very similar to when she had shifted, albeit now far more human. She doesn't have the fangs, horns, or pointed ears. Her skin is darker brown instead of red. She's more beautiful now than when she was using her powers, even if she is about to break into tears. She also looks 19 tops. I'm glad I kept the beer. I move my hand a little to get her attention, and then hold it out for her again. Come on, up we go. Eterna takes my hand, and I help her to her feet. She looks down, her hands holding the bottom of her blouse as I move the oranges to the unbroken bag and shove the toilet paper under one arm. I wad up the torn plastic bag and toss it in the can she tripped over, which now has a noticeable dent in it. If no one's fixed it in a couple days, I'll pop it back into shape. To my surprise, Eterna's still standing where I left her when I turned back around. It's okay, Eterna, I say. She looks up at me, tears in her eyes. I bet I look like an idiot. You tripped, it happens, I say. Come on, you're tired from keeping that shift up for so long, right? She looks down before squeezing her eyes shut and nodding. Let's go eat some of those cookies, okay? Eterna has calmed down by the time we get back to my apartment. We head inside and I put the groceries away before returning to pour us both a glass of milk in the reusable plastic cups I bought. The plastic is a little scuffed from skidding across the gravel outside, but they're still usable. I make sure Eterna doesn't see one of the plastic bowls cracked when she fell. I can replace it without trouble. These are really good cookies, I say. You bake them? She nods. I stress bake. Stress? Are you doing okay? I ask. It's the first time I've been on my own, and I've only had my powers for about 4 months, Eterna says. My family didn't like me changing my name, but they didn't mind me moving. I'm so sorry, I say. She begins and takes a gulp of her drink. Can I ask you how long you've been a CoL? You are a CoL, right? I finish off my cookie and nod. Sure, February 17th. This year? No. Shit. You don't mean this year. You mean the February 17th, CoL Day. You're a first gen? What the fuck? Eterna jumps to her feet and she shouts, What the fuck? I drink the last of my milk while she freaks out a bit more. February 17th? The very first fucking day? Holy shit, what the fuck? If she gets this worked up about when I became a CoL, I'm not going to tell her my class, I think to myself. Take a breath, Eterna, I say. It's not that big a deal. Yes it is, she hisses. I just made a complete ass of myself in front of an oldie. Fucking shit. Oldie? Ouch. She shakes her head. You don't look like you've been a CoL for 10 years, she says. Is that what you do? You just keep yourself looking young? I'm only 35, I say. You got carded. We were in a grocery store that caters to CoLs. Everyone gets carded, I say. You could make yourself look 100 if you wanted to. They card everyone. Let me see your ID. I want to see your class, she demands. No. Why not? It's getting late and I've had a long few days. I want to put sheets on my bed and go to sleep, I say. She takes a step toward me like she's going to try to force me to hand over my wallet. I stare at her, hard. Trust me, you do not want to do that. Eterna takes a step back and puts her hands in the air. Sorry, I got a bit worked up. We all do, I say. I get up from my stool. I think it's best if we call it a night. Thank you again for the cookies, Eterna. I gently put a hand on her shoulder for a moment before gesturing towards the door. It's fine. Maybe tomorrow you can show me around more. I may be familiar with being a CoL, but I'm lost when it comes to being in the city. I could use any tips you have. She's fighting tears again. Really? Yeah. You don't hate me for being an ass? She asks weakly. I was gonna try to get your wallet, and you would have failed. Instead, I say, I don't hate you. You're fine. Thank you again. I see Eterna off to her apartment, which is across the hall rather than right next door. I only get a glimpse of the interior of her place, but it's colorfully decorated with a large, fluffy recliner in the living area. There's a well-maintained altar to Loki in the corner of the room, a dish with cookies on it, offerings, sitting with candles on either side. The smell of baked goods wafts out the door. I thank her again before going back to my place. My sheets are for a twin bed, and the apartment came with a queen. I lay the flat sheets on top of the mattress with a blanket and pillow before going to sleep. The Ember Child, Chapter 4. An incident occurred today. 2 of the CoLs in the study got into a fight. I heard a commotion in the building shaking, then screams. When I arrived, there was visible damage to the side of the main building. 2 sets of giant footprints pressed into the soil and grass outside, and 2 very horrified CoLs apologizing profusely to Book. Ebony and Spine have refused to say what happened, other than that they had an argument that was broken up by Book. Neither will tell me what Book did. I've asked Book, and they only said they dealt with it, and that, quote, Ebony and Spine won't be a problem again. I'm concerned they've threatened Ebony and Spine, although that doesn't seem very much like Book. What could possibly scare someone with powers like these? What was it that book did? CoL Case Study 0001, Notes of Dr. Rose Hailu, October 10th, 2029. I didn't set an alarm, which is good. I'm already confused enough waking up in an unfamiliar apartment. It would have been worse if I had woken up more suddenly. I roll around in bed for a moment before I remember this one is bigger than I'm used to and just sit up. The bedroom is pretty bare bones. There's a chair and desk in one corner next to the sliding doors for the balcony. The bed is a simple queen with a plain wooden headboard and a small side table next to it with a lamp on it. I need to get a bookcase. I don't own a lot, but at least 3 of my 12 boxes are full of books. The strangest thing about this apartment, as well as the other CoL apartment building I looked up, is the presence of a large mirror on one wall of the bedroom. It doesn't cover the whole wall, but is still the largest mirror I've seen in a house before. It looks like it would be more fit for a dance studio. I'm going to cover it up with a curtain or something when I have the time. We'll put curtains on the sliding door windows as well. Maybe get some plants. All that can wait. Breakfast first. The bacon I bought fries up just like any other bacon. I've just sat down with a plate of scrambled eggs and not too crispy bacon when the doorbell rings. I jump a bit before composing myself, shoveling a couple forkfuls of food into my mouth, swallowing a gulp of orange juice, and wiping my mouth on my pajama sleeve. I get to the door just as the bell rings again. I don't bother looking out the peephole and just open it. It's not like there's anyone here that could cause me any problems. Eterna smiles at me weakly. To my surprise, she's still in her basic form. She's got one hand behind her. "Sorry for yesterday," she says as she shoves a plastic-wrapped muffin in my face. "Please, take this." "Come on in, Eterna," I say as I take the muffin. She enters and I shut the door. "I'm so sorry." I hold up a hand. I get that it was embarrassing and everything right now is nerve-wracking, but it's okay, really. I look at the muffin and then back to her. "You get any sleep last night, or did you just cook nonstop?" "Bake," she says. "I baked, and I didn't do it all night long. I went to sleep about 3 or so. She sniffs the air. "Is that bacon?" "Yeah, I bought some yesterday." She winces. "I don't eat bacon." "That's fine," I say. I start to head back down the small entryway to my kitchen and then stop. "Do you mind if I finish my bacon?" "Yeah, just don't make me eat it." "No problem there," I say. I finish eating quickly and follow my eggs and bacon with the muffin. It's banana nut and very good. I have a feeling it's not made from a box mix either. "This is amazing," I say. "Thanks, it's vegan," Eterna explains. "You drank regular milk yesterday?" I say. "Oh, I'm not vegan, the muffin is. I'm trying some new recipes." "You did an excellent job," I commend. "Thank you again." Eterna nods and then looks down again. "Listen, you might want to stay inside today. There's a thing going on out front you should avoid." I raise my eyebrow. "Okay. So, you know this is a CoL exclusive apartment building? But there's some groups that don't even like the name Children of Loki, even if they themselves have powers, right?" "I've heard of them," I say with a nod. "One of those groups, the Children of our Lord, is doing a little protest thing out front again. It's Sunday, after all," she explains. "I'm not even going to shift today, so I don't get on their radar." I finish the last bite of my muffin. I've heard of the Children of our Lord, also known as CoOLs, rather than the Children of Loki, or CoLs. They're largely people who've gained powers that don't like the idea of those powers possibly being tied to a pagan religion. I've never seen one in person, nor met one. They're not the sort of people who sign up for the studies I did. In fact, the last thing I read about them was how they had, somehow, become even more misogynistic. Even before I gained powers 10 years ago, that sort of thing seemed weird to me. How could somebody think they were better than someone else because of their gender? It makes as little sense as racism or queerphobia. Shit, my powers make more sense and we still haven't fully figured out how they work. I kind of want to go stare at them. What does that look? Eterna finally asks me after I've been quiet for far too long. What look? I ask. I've known you for less than a day and I can already tell you're thinking of doing something bad, Eterna says. I won't do anything bad, I say. If they show up regularly, I can stare at them on another day. So, what's fun to do here in Austin? Eterna smiles. Give me a beer and I'll tell you. Not a chance, I say. Fine. I usually stay in on Sundays to avoid the cools. They don't always stay at the front of the building. We've had a couple sneak in a few times, she explains. Since you moved here? I ask. Yeah. She's only had her powers for 4 months. Even if she moved here immediately after becoming a CoL, that's an alarming number of intrusions. Mind if I ask when you moved in? 2 months ago. And how many times have these people broken in? I ask incredulously. They didn't break in, they snuck in. And I think they maybe 2 of them who've gotten into the building. Maybe 6 times, Eterna explains. I'm not certain. Once was during a party, but that was multiple guys. What did they do when they got in? A couple times they just harassed people. Once they smeared eggs all over the hallway. I think one time they spray painted some stuff. Oh, that's going to be annoying. People sure can be assholes. I shut my eyes and breathe a calm breath in and out. If they do that again, let me know, I say. Okay, Eterna replies. I don't know what I'll do, but I've got to make sure it's not illegal. I'm supposed to be helping Detective Windgate tomorrow. The laws can be a teeny bit gray when it comes to CoLs policing one another. Gods know the cops have done a shit job of it in the past. They still aren't great, even if a few departments now have CoLs on staff or even on patrol. Thankfully, I'm licensed to use my powers for just about anything under the sun, so if there is another CoL or group of them that sneaks in, I should be able to deal with it. Has anyone ever fought back? I ask. What? When the CoL sneak in? Yeah. Not really, no. We all go in our rooms and lock the doors until they go away, Eterna says. I get my phone out. Let's exchange numbers, okay? You can call me if they show up again. You're not going to fight them, are you? I let out a bit of a snort. No, of course not. I may, however, just grab every single one of them at the same time and pin them to the floor and wait for someone to come pick them up for trespassing and harassment. My apartment didn't come with a trash can. I put my eggshells and stuff from the breakfast as well as the cracked plastic bowl in one of the shopping bags from yesterday to throw away. The grocery store is bound to have a trash can and bags, maybe even sheets that will fit my new bed. I wrote those on a small grocery list I fold and put in my pocket. I toss the bag of trash in the dented can in the courtyard, and then look over the previously domed canister and body of the can a bit. The golden yellow paint has cracked where Eterna tripped over it and bent the metal. It's actually a bit more warped than I thought. Maybe someone else smacked it in the night. It doesn't really matter. I pull the lid up and use my powers to strengthen my body enough to pop the metal back into its proper shape. When I pull the internal can out and bump the exterior body back into a cylinder shape with my palm. Some more of the paint flakes off after I've reshaped and reassembled the can. Now maintenance only has to repaint, so hopefully I've saved someone a bit of trouble. There are not many people in the courtyard. Most everyone's staying inside, it seems. I can see movement through the balcony, sliding doors and such here and there. A few people walk from the grocery store to the interior security doors to go back up to their homes. That would be an easy way to sneak in. Just slip behind someone who's finished shopping. Little Asgard Heights has gates that one needs to use their key card and ID to unlock before entering. Yesterday, I kept having to buzz in the moving people as we carried things up to my apartment. The exterior gates are classic metal bars with a computer keypad that scans the key and the CoL ID of the resident. The bars are tall and nearly reach the ceiling of the entry hallway. A skilled CoL could easily slip between the metal posts, under them, or even above them. There are lots of ways I can think of to get around that security measure. The interior security doors have a similar keypad setup, but a heavy metal door instead of metal bars. The door is taller than what it was standard 10 years ago. It's really the only larger than standard door I've seen in the building. There are 2 such entries on either of the long walls of the buildings, and 2 more on the shorter ones. Going in these doors leads one to a small foyer area that becomes stairs leading up to the 2nd floor and down to the garage. A 3rd door on the lower walls of the courtyard leads to an elevator that can take a person to the underground parking garage, 2nd or 4th floor, since the apartments are each 2 stories. I try to memorize the layout of the building in case there's some emergency. CoLs may have supernatural powers of transformation, but we're still human, and most of us can't do more than change their hair color or give themselves elf ears. It's a beautiful day, and would be relaxing to be out in the courtyard if it wasn't for all the screaming. I can see why everyone's staying in their apartments. The cool protest, gathering, church service is still underway in front of the building, almost directly across from the cafe, Freya's. I get a latte and a croissant. The table I pick is near enough the window to see the people with paper signs and posters on sticks lingering in a loose mass across the street. They're on a public sidewalk, not on the property for Little Asgard Heights, so there's little our building management can do. The signs say things like, "Repent," "Cools are cool," and "God gave you those powers." Their chants don't make much sense either, but their whole deal is pretty weird. Here is the illustration for this chapter. A few of them have fake halos above their heads, held up by springs on headbands, while at least one has shifted to have small angel wings growing from their shoulder blades and a ring of light behind their head, attached to the base of their skull. I sit long enough to watch the person return to basic form momentarily before shifting to once again have turkey-sized feathery white wings on their back and a halo. They're at least a Class B, though I wasn't aware many of them could do something like a ring of light. The leftover fluid in the bottom of my paper cup is starting to dry when my phone chimes with a message from Detective Windgate. It's a hotel room and a time to meet him in the early tomorrow morning. I text back that I'll be there, wondering why he wants to meet at a hotel. According to his website, his office is on the other side of town. Maybe the hotel is a bit closer to the client? Whatever, it can wait. I clean my table, throw my trash away, and then head to the grocery store to buy some new sheets and a trash can. And that is the end of Book of CoL, Chapter 4. And next week, I will be reading Chapters 5 and 6, and y'all will get to meet Thunderskull. If you have enjoyed listening to Book of CoL, the Ember Child, Chapters 3 and 4, please like and subscribe here on YouTube, and check out the series on Tapas, where you can read it in its entirety. Thank you.